Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hare Krishna Anandji. Nice to see you.
Try to be on time.
Yeah,
Because
we also like first 2 days were a bit of glitches here and there, but I think now
I had to go to Klang, I had to go to Tao, KL, go to Klang, and then come back.
Oh, so nice of you to take you so much trouble to attend.
You're working from home, sir, now? Or?
Yeah, yes, I'm working from home, but our factory is in Klang, so I'll have to go there. Then our office is in KL.
Oh.
It's a real thing because whenever we need to do anything, I'll have to go back to Klang.
What do you do, sir?
There.
What kind of factory?
Yeah, involved in research and development on biodegradable plastics.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
All right.
And actually, personally, I am actually a consultant for corporate finance. I'm a chartered accountant.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I do consulting, and that I do from home. That I can do from home. But research and development, I can only do at the lab. So I got a group there, and we have got government support.
Okay.
So government has given us a contract to develop rapid test kits and do some research on biodegradables. So
that's great.
that's ongoing.
Yeah, we are using a lot of plastic. There's a need of the hour.
I know a lot of plastic, and then there are a lot of people who are importing plastic, saying that it is degradable, the biodegradable plastic.
Yeah.
So to test whether it is biodegradable or not, they don't have a test kit in the world.
All right. Okay.
So we have developed the first.
Developing that. Oh, okay. Well, that's very good. Yeah. Great. Thanks for sharing, sir. How many of us are here? You just wait 1 or 2 minutes. I can let others join in. All right. Can everyone please switch on the cameras, please? Okay, we start. By the time other people join, we do our daily small prayers we do. So we are going to recite together.
Can everyone switch on your camera so we can do the recitation first?
Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right, so we are going to do together. Let's unmute your mic and recite this shloka together from Gita Gyan. Devaki Nandano Krishna Gita Pathena Tushyati.
So we can recite together.
Devaki Nandana Krishna Gita Pathena Tushyati
Yatana Vede So who will recite the translation?
Shivani Mataji, you want to read the recitation, the translation part?
Okay. The son of Devaki, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows, as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Move forward. So let's take blessing of Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Mai. We pay our humble obeisance to them. So let's recite this all together with a very prayerful mood, because only by the mercy of Guru we can understand Vedic scriptures.
So Prabhu will do
Om
the
Om Ajnana
Shakaya
Chakshurmilitamaya
Tasmai
Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna
Krishna
Prasad Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namini
Namaste
Namaste
Saraswati
Saraswate Devi
Gauravani
Gauravamacharine Nirvishesha
Navadi
Shunnyavadi
Astyacharya Jai Shri
Jaya Sri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Shadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
So our humble obeisance to His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. So we're going to recite another mantra from the Gita Mahatmya. So I will lead, then you kindly follow me. Gita Sud Gita Kartavya
Gita Sugita Kartavya
Kartavya
Kim Anya Shastra Vistarahai
Kim Anyai Shastra Vistarai
Yasvam Padmanabhasya
Yasmayam Padmanabhasya
Mukha Padma Viniharshita.
Mukha
Padma
Padma
Vinishita.
Vinishita.
Saranam brother, are you in the car driving?
Yeah. Sorry.
No
Yeah?
problem. Thank you.
You're
Want to
okay,
reach the
right?
destination,
Ah,
I will stop the car because I'm traveling from the airport to my house.
Oh,
okay.
Okay, yeah.
drive
So
safe,
just
huh?
be careful.
Give me about 10 minutes, then I'll be reached the
No
house.
problem. Drive safe.
Drive
Keep
safe,
your
huh?
focus there more and a little bit here. Okay. Thank you for joining. So who's going to recite? Amini, you would like to recite the translation?
Me, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita. In the present age, people are so absorbed in mundane activities that it is not possible for them to read all the Vedic literatures. But this is not necessary. This one book, Bhagavad Gita, will suffice because it is the essence of all Vedic literatures and especially because it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So,
Nice.
yeah. So we must understand that that we are living in a very fast moving age. Right? Everything. Yeah. We are living in a fast moving age where the fast food, everyone wants everything fast, right? That's why we are fast food. And if you have seen like a lot of restaurant in America, now they started promoting slow food because people want to do something new. They say no fast food. We have now slow food. So people are in the fast lane. We don't even have time to read Vedas. So that's why I say the other day also that reading Vedas and all other scriptures are required, but we really do not have time currently because we have made ourselves so busy for no reason, that we don't have time for anything which is good for our spiritual advancement. So rather reading so many scriptures, Vedas, Upanishads, Mahapuranas, and Itihasa, at least we can take a time to read and understand Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Vedic literature. And that's why I sincerely thank all of you to take your time and joining these classes, because as we are trying our best to impart this knowledge we have received. It is also the person like you who was ready, eager to receive it. So kindly and try to understand this knowledge with a uh, devoted heart, praying to Krishna to make you understand whatever we are trying to impart this knowledge. And also, whenever you have time, please read Bhagavad Gita. Very important, because if we do not attempt ourselves, nothing will happen. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? We have to do our karma. We have to act, and leave it to Krishna. The fruit will leave it to Krishna, but we have to act. We have to read. Whether sometimes seemingly, oh, I cannot understand Sanskrit, I cannot understand very deep subject. Don't worry about that. Just read. As time you keep reading, the revelation, you will understand more and more.
Actually, it's very nice to see the youths in this group. You have actually taken I would say salute to all of you. You have taken a very big initiative at this age. Anandji, you might be
You
agreeing.
must bless them,
You might be agreeing, right?
Yeah.
So, because
It's very,
you know
it's
your
very
path.
humbling.
Yeah, if you know your path, it's easier to move in life, right? Rather than sometimes I came to know Bhagavad Gita in age of 35. By the time you already make so many mistakes, you know. So congratulations to the youth here. I think you need a tap for yourself.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll move forward. So today we are going to start chapter 4. The chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. What is transcendental? Transcendental means which is beyond this material world. If I need to go, let's say I want to go to my friend's house in Klang, I need to know the direction, right? Or if I just take the car, I don't know anything, I don't know the road, I just start driving, I'm not going to reach automatically in Klang from KL. I need to know. And today's time, place is there, Google Maps is there. So similarly, this chapter in Bhagavad Gita are our items, is our markers to reach certain place. So if you need to go somewhere, I need to know that place. So that's why Krishna is imparting this transcendental knowledge. How do we attain him? So this chapter is between Karma Yoga, and Krishna will tell in this chapter how the new knowledge is used for devotional service. It's very, very important, the word devotional service, because Krishna can only be approached or understood by bhakti, devotion. If we're trying to be jnanis, I am intelligent, I will try to understand God. God cannot be understood by jnana itself. We need to have devotion. And then we have seen yesterday how if you have seen how to work for Krishna, correct? We were talking about the soldier, right? That the soldier, same person.
பொண்ணுங்களோட முகத்துல உதட்டுக்கு மேலயும் கீழேயும் மச்ச இருக்கிற பொண்ணுங்களாம் பசங்களோட மனச கொஞ்சம் கூட வைக்காம மொத்தமா
Can you please mute your mics, please? So how a person using a knife can kill someone or can treat someone, right? So that is the way how to use the knowledge. So similarly, Krishna is bringing Arjun to sense, telling, hello, you are not the first person who got this knowledge. Because we thought and we think, when was the Bhagavad Gita spoken? Anyone has any idea? I think first class.
The sense, you mean the age?
Yeah, around how many years back?
5,000 years.
3,000,
Some 5,000 years back, right? We are going to know now a deeper secret. When was the first Bhagavad Gita was spoken? It was not 5,000 years back. Let's go to that. So this is the first verse of the chapter 4. Someone's mic is unmuted.
Can you all hear? There's some disturb.
Oh, it's unmute if you want to speak. I don't know whose mic is it. Anyway, so we move forward. So first verse of the chapter 4, I will recite, then we follow me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Vacha
Imam Vipate Yogam
Imam Vivasvate Yogam
Bhaktavam Aham Avyayam
Bhagavan Aham
Avyayam
Vasvan Manve Praha
Vivasvan Manave Paraha
Manud Ikshvake Bravit.
Manu
Manu Ikshvakave Bravit.
Okay, one more time together now. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Imam
Yogam Proktavam
Imam
Avyayam
Imam Vivasvate
Vivasvate Yogam
Proktavam
Aham Avyayam
Bhaktavan
Bhagavan Aham Avyayam
Manu Ikshvake Parvit.
Manu Ikshvakave Bravit.
Manave Praha.
So Trishla can recite the translation, please.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, said, I instructed these imperishable signs of yoga to the sun god, Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku.
So now we know that Arjun was not the first one the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to. So let's move back billions of years in history back. So Vivasvan is sun god. The sun we see, right? Because in our culture or Vedic tradition, everyone is a personality. Everything is a conscious being. Whether even if it's a water, because there is a water for a goddess for water, right? Goddess for ocean, sun, and then we have sun, we have moon. Everyone has a controller or a presiding deity for everything. Similarly, for sun, his name is called Vivasvan. Vivasvan is not a name of the deity; it is a position. Like Brahma also is a position. Brahma is not the name, because every yuga has a different Brahma and he has different name. So current Brahma of our planet is called Chaturmukhi Brahma because he has 4 heads. There are Brahma who has 1,000 heads also. Depends of different universe, different planet. There are different Brahmas are there. So Lord Ram comes in this lineage of Ishwaku. If we read Ramayana, we see, right, they always carry sun symbol. So they come in this lineage of Ishwaku. All right. And this is not the first time Bhagavad Gita was spoken. And it happened. Sun God is a position. Krishna gave this first Bhagavad Gita knowledge to sun god Vivasvan 120 million years ago. So now we know how deep our history is. We are not 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 year old civilization. The Vedic civilization is millions of year old. Though in between we cannot find the connection, but if you follow currently, you can see the Vedic relics, the coins, the deity pictures, the sculpture are being found in, of course, if we say Indonesia, this is actually same belt, right? Indian subcontinent. They are found as far as Mexico, in Turkey, in Greece, everywhere. Some in Iraq, usually they found Ganesha Murti there, and they even found what do you call Narasimha Dev in China. So actually, 120 million years back, this whole planet was our whole Earth was one continent. It's given in Bhagavatam if you read that at what point of time the one continent became 7 continents, what color of people went in which direction. So like we say usually Chinese yellow people, right? They went towards east. Then there were red Indians. Then there were black, dark Africans. So everything is there in Bhagavatam. So now we know that how deep our history is, and then it came to Earth 2 million years ago. So this Bhagavad Gita has been like Krishna say, I come again and again. Tam bhavami yuge yuge. Means he comes again and again to give this knowledge. Because what happens, we forget, or knowledge get diluted, or adharma comes in. So he comes again and re-establish religion. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the age of Kali Yuga. The current Kali Yuga is 432,000 years. So we have just started. This is 427,000 years. We still have to go through this Kali Yuga, and they say this Kali Yuga going to get bad and bad and bad. They say now we have passed around 5,000 years. Another 5,000 years later, actually all the deities, all the piety, all the truthfulness will depart from this planet. This planet become hellish, will become hellish. There will not be food to eat. Though they are doing so much of advancement, we can see the consciousness of the people is degrading, going bad and bad, correct? But we are advancing in technology. So this, there will be a time then there will not be any temple remaining in this world. All the deities will be lost somehow. So this is the plan. Because after 432,000, which is now 427,000, some years balance, there will be a call mini Pralay. You know, there will be devastation take place. There was a movie, right, 2012, where they show the world ends. It is going to end that way. There will be Pralay, where the water, the whole earth will be inundated with the water. There will be nothing left in the world. And then when the days start back after many thousands of years, then again Satyuga, or the first cycle of this Yuga, will start again. There will not be any irreligious people. Everyone will be dharmic, very good people.
One of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is also hypocrisy. People will tend to cheat us. A lot of people will be cheating us. You know, this how to say, a lot of hypocrisies will happen. You know, so these are all symptoms of Kali Yuga. That's why you see sometimes, you know, you wonder where is good people, isn't it? You know, it's your best friend who will be sometimes cheating us. Your family members will be cheating you. You know. So things like
this is
will
there.
happen.
This is there in our consciousness, because this is the effect of this Yuga. They say of all the pillars of the dharma, only one pillar left, which is truthfulness. So still we can see people have still, some people still value their words. That is the only thing remaining. There is no particular piety, because people are killing animals to eat. There is no there are four pillars, right? All have destroyed except this truthfulness. So if before this there was Dwapar Yuga, which was 864,000 years. That's where the Krishna appeared. Before that, Treta Yuga, where Lord Ram appeared. So Ramayana did not take place some 10,000, 12,000 years back. Ramayana took place more than million years back, as for Bhagavatam. We see Bhagavatam. So you can see the Ram Leela, the pastime of Ram, is still celebrated even in Indonesia, right? Even in part of Malaysia still, correct? So that did not take place some 10, 12,000 years. It took more than a million years back. And still we are remembering Lord Ram's pastime. So before that, before Treta Yuga, there was Satya Yuga, which was 1.2 million years old. So as the Yugas changes, the age changes, our life gets shorter and shorter and shorter. From 100,000 years to 10,000 to 1,000, and now only 100. That 100 also not left, right? How many people live 100 years nowadays? Very few. Even if they live this, they suffer, correct? Not healthy.
And they say, no, when will Kali Yuga will be ending? Many people will ask, right? When is Kali Yuga ending? It's already started. You know, you can see now itself so many kind of I mean, you do see this kind of tsunami happening. Accumulated of people are dying now with this pandemic. You know, so this is slowly.
But on the other hand, it just started.
Yeah.
It just started. Another 427,000 years, we have to go through this. So that's why it is said this is the best and golden period in all the ages. Just by remembering Krishna, you can go back, get full liberation, not even liberation, you go beyond liberation. You go back to him and you don't have to ever come back again here, because this world is going to get bad and bad and bad. Consider you get born here again 1000 years later, 100 years later, 10,000 years later. This place will become mess, right? Like in the movies nowadays, they show a lot of apocalypse, right? This is going to become like that. There's no rain. The people will be hiding under some shelters and all this. So coming back to the story of Bhagavad Gita spoken, so at this current state, around 2 million years back, Manu spoke Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son called Ishwaku. You can see in the end, right? In the shloka, the end instructed to Ishwaku. So that's what we are talking about, Ishwaku. So before it was given to Arjun, in this age, in this yuga, it was given around 2,005,000 years back to Ishwaku Maharaj, who was the son and disciple of Manu. Actually, Manu is the 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 father of all living entities. That's why I say Adam and Eve, right? So Adam they talk about, which is totally wrong concept, but Adam means Manu. The Manu, from Manu comes man, and from Manu comes Manav also. In Sanskrit they call Manav, but in English it's called man. So man actually coming from Manu. Okay, we move forward. So next shloka is 4.2. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarsho viduhu sakal neha mahata yoga nasta parantapa. Let's recite together.
Unmute everyone. So we recite this. We recite together, okay? So try to follow word by word.
Slowly.
Slowly, no hurry. Try to recite word by word, and everyone please recite. You will see that there's a lot of when you pronounce it, you will get a lot of benefits of it. All right. So Bhagavad Gita 4.2.
Evam
Parampara
Imam
praptam
Amrajarsayo Vidu
Akhale
Yogo Mahata Yogo Nashta Harantapa.
Vijayalakshmi, you want to read, no? The
Supreme
This-
science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science at its ease disappeared. Appears to be lost.
So there are nowadays, you see, Bhagavad Gita, there are more than 100,000 translation of Bhagavad Gita. More than that. Bhagavad Gita is one of the most read book and most inspiring book ever in mankind. Not even for Hindus, so-called Hindus, all over worldwide people read Bhagavad Gita for inspiration and for answers. But there are so many people. But if we see our tradition, the Vedic tradition is the Bhagavad Gita, or the Gyan is given through Guru to disciple, Shishya, Guru and Shishya, Guru and disciple. So that is called disciplic succession. The Guru gives the knowledge to his disciple. So, but if we see the previously, there will be like a student will go and live in the ashram with the Guru, and there they got knowledge. But we are not living on those times now. So currently, even we can what do you call? We can transfer this knowledge even by a Zoom meeting. We are talking now, right? So that's how it is given, because we should always listen Bhagavad Gita from a devotee of Lord, not by people those who are trying to show their intelligence. Because as we say, Krishna can never be understood by intelligence alone. We need bhakti, we need devotion. And this, if you see on the right, you see person sitting down, right? And then this is Acharya, this is shown like Srila Prabhupada as we speak, the founder Acharya of Hare Krishna movement. He is giving knowledge. So that's how knowledge is given from Guru to the Shishya. And he got knowledge from his Guru, his Guru. And if you see the connection of this parampara, that is disciplic succession, becomes in the Brahma Madhav Gaudiya Sampradaya. Brahma means Brahmadev, Madhavacharya, Gaudiya means from West Bengal, Sampradaya, disciplic succession. So if you see, this leads direct to Krishna. Krishna gave the knowledge in the starting to Brahmadev, Brahmaji, and from Brahmaji given to Narada, his disciple. And that's how it has been unbroken chain. If you read Bhagavad Gita, page 32, you will get the whole chain of succession, how this knowledge has been transferred. So you go to later Bhagavad Gita, page 32, you can get the detail. So how do we get this knowledge? Because if we try to attain this knowledge ourselves, very difficult, because we must get mercy of the Guru. By only Guru's mercy, we can understand Bhagavad Gita. Some people say, oh, me and Krishna, me and God direct, why do I need a person? But if we see from in our previous acharyas, previous gurus, always everyone has a guru. Very few people you will see in Vedic literature that they have reached Krishna directly or God directly. No one, hardly anyone. Everyone has guru, you know. Even Narad Muni has guru. You know, Narad is guru of so many Mahajan. You know, he has disciples, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, so many. You know, he has hundreds and thousands of disciples. But he also has a guru. So nobody can reach. You know, this is chain we have to follow. You say, but what happened? Sometime in the
Prabhuji, in this discourse, can we consider you as our guru?
no, I'm just a very humble person. I don't have a qualification to be guru. But we always say when we are learning Bhagavad Gita, there are different type of gurus. Called Siksha Guru, the one who give you knowledge. Then there is called a Diksha Guru, who actually connect you to Krishna. So that Diksha Guru can be my guru. Who is my guru? Because he is what is it? He is authorized by his guru to accept disciples. I'm just a via media. I'm just an instrument in between. You know, if some and of you, when you reading Bhagavad Gita chanting, get interested to know more about Krishna and how this disciplic expression will works, I can connect you to our gurus. They are the people who will actually can guide you. But of course, I can give you whatever I have learned until today. So I am not qualified to be guru yet because it will take, there's a lot of requirement to be a guru. Because guru's first responsibility, if someone accept a guru, he must be able to deliver that person to Krishna. Otherwise, one should not call himself guru. Otherwise, because there are so many bogus guru anyway in this world, especially India is full of them, right? This guru, this blunder, that blunder. Every day something keep happening, you know. Because of this, because everyone wants to be guru. I don't want to name so many bogus guru in India, but if you ask them who is your guru, they don't have guru. No, I don't have guru. How can you be guru if you are not authorized to be guru? Guru must be authorized by his guru. You cannot, nobody can become guru like that. Must follow disciplic succession. So we see parampara, which we are coming from. The top is Krishna, I say Brahma, Narad. Then Vyasadeva. Who is Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva is the compiler of Mahabharata, which is Bhagavad Gita is part of that. He wrote, after writing Mahabharata, he wrote 108 Upanishad. He wrote so many books. After that, the last book he wrote was Srimad Bhagavatam, which only talks about Krishna and his pastimes. Then from Vyasadeva, the connection comes to Madhavacharya. Madhavacharya was appeared in South India around 1000 years back. Then Padmanabha, Narhari, Madhava. So there are so many until it comes to, I can read, keep reading, but it's there in the Bhagavad Gita. You can see Madhavendra Puri, Ishwara Puri, Lord Chaitanya, Roop Swaroop Sanatan, Raghunath, Jeev, Krishnadas, Narottam Puri, Vishwanath, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, and our founder of ISKCON, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we comes from this disciplic succession. So if we understand Bhagavad Gita under a disciplic succession, we will never go wrong. So I'm not saying that this is the only chain of disciplic succession in the world. There are many, but we must find the authorized one, which directly connect to Krishna, not here and there. You know that people claim I'm the guru myself. I don't need a guru to preach. They say, no, it doesn't work like that. We move forward. Verse 4.4. Arjuna uvacha apram bhavto janma param janma visvataha katham edad vigyanyam tam adau proktavamiti. So please recite together.
Translation. So we
Right.
recite word by word, okay?
Mhm.
Everyone try to follow the rhythm. So then it's very nice to hear. Otherwise, it's like A, then B, then C, you know. So we try to get the sequence right. Huh? So Bhagavad Gita 4.4. Can we
Arjunuvacha apram
Aparam
bhavto
bhavato
param janma
param
Param
visvataha
Janma
Janma
Vishwata
katham
Vishwaka
Katam
edad
Vidyayam Tvam
tam
Adau
adau
Praktavaniti.
Bhavan.
So initially it's difficult because we have not spoken, so our tongue gets twisted, right? So but we keep doing it, we'll become okay, you know. Because there is a very famous verse, if you keep, karam karam abhyaste jadmati osajan, rasari avaj jate fil par pad nikhan. This is a very famous doha in North India. If we keep doing same thing again and again, if you would have seen a well, right? In India, a lot of wells are there. On the wells, the boundary wall is a very strong stone. But when they put the the rope and the bucket inside in the well and they keep pulling it out, after some years, the deep impression becomes of the rope or even on the stone. Correct? So that's how we say if we keep repeating, we get master in that. We
Chaitra,
perfect.
what's the latest Tamil song? Huh?
All of a sudden.
So, if you keep singing the song, it will hum
Remember,
in
right?
it will hum in your brain, right? When you're bathing, you remember the song. While you're eating, while you're driving, you remember the song. So it's just a repetition,
So
right?
if we do that, one day the verses also will keep repeating inside.
It's better, right?
So this was told in the disciplic profession that every time we get knowledge, we have to hear it disciplic profession. Because it's very important that we follow a disciplic profession. So this one, oh sorry, it goes back to behind. So 4.4. So if you see on the right, Arjun is sitting down, correct?
We haven't read the translation.
Okay, sorry, yeah.
Pooja, you want to try?
Arjuna said, "The sun god Vivashna is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the signs to him?"
Yes. So if we see that now Arjuna is asking in a very humble way. He's not challenging Krishna. He's sitting down with a folded hand. And that's how you approach a guru, you know, not challenging the guru. He's asking in a very humble way because Krishna just said what he said that I give this knowledge 2 million years back to Vivaswan. Now he say, but they're friend, right? They're almost same age, Krishna and Arjuna. So Arjuna is asking, hey, we were born almost at the same time. You are, at the war, they were around 85 or 90-year-old, both of them. The, what do you call, material calculation. So they want to be telling, hello, you born together. We are only one few years difference plus minus, How did you give this knowledge to Surya Dev so many years back, millions of years back, you're claiming, So how do I understand? So sun god is actually very senior to you. So how is that possible? You give this knowledge to the sun god, whereas you are just my age. So it also for us, sometimes we say, how to understand this, millions of years back Krishna gave, like you said, I told right that Krishna comes again and again to give this knowledge. So Bhagavad Gita was not spoken first time in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. It has been spoken many times in this millions of years. So every time Krishna comes, you see, people forgot already, or people lost already, or they have put their own masala in Bhagavad Gita. He come back, he correct. All right? Then he go back. So Arjun's his questions are actually always for us. It is not that we did not know. He's the associate of Lord. He knows everything, but actually he's asking on our behalf. Do you think Arjuna doesn't know all this? Because he is Krishna's friend, he is a relative. They have played together, they have played together, they eat together, they have done everything, all the mischief together. So does he not know about Krishna? He knows everything. He is asking on our behalf. That because he's asking question, we will get the answer. So that's what I say sometimes. If you have a question, please ask. So sometimes someone else also looking for this answer, but some people are shy to ask. So then that's how everyone get the answer who is not even asking, but get the answer because someone else has asked this question. So Arjuna is doing that part for us. We
And
should be
actually
thankful.
it helps us also because like many things that we also do not know that we can learn from you all. When you ask questions, we will refer. Okay, whatever we know, we are sharing. Otherwise, we also will do our
Sometimes we
reference.
don't know, then we also go reference. We call our senior
So
senior
it's
devotees,
yeah.
ask them. This question was asked. There is nothing to be shy in, especially in spiritual knowledge. If you do not know, there is nothing. Okay, I don't know. I will refer to my seniors and get back. All right. So similarly, if you have any question, please open up, ask. Don't worry. Okay, we move forward. Okay, 4.5. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha बाहुनि बाहुनि मे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि त्वच अर्जुन तानि अहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्ता परन्तप. So
So
recite
please
together.
unmute your mic and translate one by one. All right.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Vacha
बाहुनि
bahuni vyatitani janmani tani aham veda sarvani natvam veda parantapa.
Okay.
Any
Shakuntala?
volunteers want to read?
Shakuntala, please recite the translation, please.
The personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy.
So we see what Krishna is telling now in this verse, that you and I have appeared in this world again and again. As you say, because the soul is eternal, as God is. Our soul is also eternal. So we appear in this world again and again. But by Krishna's mercy, we do not remember our past birth. Why I call this a mercy? Because consider, we already have so many pain in this birth, right? We go through so many emotional issues, especially people like us, those who have already passed 30, 40 years, 50 years in life. They have seen so many things which is not pleasant in life. Correct? So if I can remember my 100 birth, how my mind will burst. Cannot handle the pain of all the problems we have gone through. So that's why when we take birth, Krishna reset everything for us. But he is the Paramatma, he is the supreme. He remembers everything. You know. So previous birth, Nar Narayana, there is a two personality in Bhagavatam. Say Nar was Arjun and Narayana was Krishna. And Krishna remember, but Arjun do not remember that. So they have appeared also again and again, again and again. So they say, I hope you are realizing this. Whenever Krishna speaks, it is Bhagavan Uvacha. Have you read it? Shri Bhagavan Uvacha means this word, all this and following verses are all spoken by Krishna. So we will be touching on Bhagavan issue later in the chapter 9. So Krishna is declared to be the supreme personality of Godhead, and he keeps coming again and again, again and again. So we will talk about this. What is the meaning of this word Bhagavan and supreme personality of Godhead? This is a very unique word used by Srila Prabhupada. That supreme personality of Godhead. We will talk that later in chapter 9 when Krishna is going to speak about himself. We go to next 4.7. So this is very, very famous word from Bhagavad Gita.
Yep.
All of you should remember. And this very okay. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamiham. Let's recite together.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
Prisha, please recite English translation.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
This verse is so important. Krishna is ensuring and is claiming that whenever there's a decline in religion or dharma, he comes back to set things back. You know? So he takes so much of trouble, keep coming for us to set the things in right perspective. Is it currently, you know, there are so many people are saying they are God. Have you heard, right? So many God, right? Especially in India. I tell you, every other person claim is this God, that God. I don't want to name. You know, there's so many God in India, including one in Kalash sitting now, right? So there are so many God, but it is defined in scripture who can be called God. His birth is not as same as ours. Like with Krishna, Janmashtami comes, right? And then Ram Navami comes when Lord Ram appeared, and Krishna appeared. Do we say the birthday of Krishna or Ram, of Hanuman's birthday? No, we don't say, right? We say Jayanti, or whatever day they are born. Or the right word in English is appearance day. They appear and disappear whenever they want to. They do not take birth and die like us, because they are eternal. They are the supreme. So how they were going to take birth like that? If they take birth like us, they also seem like us then in that case, right? So their birth is not same as our birth. Please note, in Kali Yuga, many people claim as God or Avatar, but if not mentioned in Kirtan, then he is not. If someone claim that I am the God, ask him to show in which scripture it is written that you are God. Because every avatar or reincarnation on appearance of God has been predicted in the Shastra, in Bhagavatam, in Bhavishya Purana. There's so many Purana. There must be some reference of this person. So people say, I am God. Okay, prove it. In which scripture your name is there? Show me. So why does God come? He comes to deliver the pious, the right people. He will come and liberate them and annihilate the miscreant, those who are creating trouble in the world. That is the main reason Krishna appeared and Mahabharata took place. Even before Mahabharata, he killed Shishupal. He killed so many demons, because they were creating havoc in the society that time. So he came, and that's why the massive manslaughter took place during Mahabharata war, because they were all wrong, all other wrong side. If the first reaction to deliver bias, he saved Prahlad first, then killed Hiranyakashipu. We know the story of Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. Who know Narasimhadev?
I think they will know Narasimha, but the background.
Okay, we are going to the next slide. We are going to talk about Narasimhadev and Prahlad Maharaj and Hiranyakashipu. So is it to go to kill any a demon or miscreant? He can just do like that, but he take pain to come and deliver his devotees. He will come himself personally and take them, you know, bring them back. So next, move to the next one. So 4.8. Paritaranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam dharam samsapanathaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
We
Please
translate
recite.
together, yeah? Sorry, we
Recite
recite
together.
together. Bhagavad Gita 4.8.
Paritranaya
Pritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge.
Someone to read? Volunteers?
Lakshmi.
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
So Krishna is boldly claiming that he comes again and again. To do what? To annihilate. First, to deliver the pious. For him, the miscreants come second. For him, devotees come first. He cares for the devotees. So to deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreant. So now little bit touch on the Narasimha Bhavan story, the appearance of Narasimha.
How many of you all have seen the form, this Narasimha's form? You all seen?
I'm sure.
Yes,
Right?
yes, yes.
The
Yeah.
half man, half lion form of the
I
Lord.
think there's a movie of this also, right?
There's so many movies. I think Tamil also so many movies. Hindi so many movies. Every language got movies because this is one of the very famous form of the Lord in everywhere in India, and
So what-
especially in Andhra and all because there's so many temples.
One of the very important, one of the important.
You were saying, Mr. Anand, something?
Most Perumal temples have it as
Ah,
Chakravarta. That is in the chakra.
Hmm.
Back of it, you will find
Yes, yes, yeah, correct. Yeah.
So one of the very important aspect of Narasimha Dev, if you see this avatar, Narasimha's avatar, he took his avatar just to protect one devotee, right? To protect one devotee, he has taken birth. I mean, he has appeared. So it's a very, very special, you know.
So this form of the Lord is so special. Just like I said, one person, he came just to save Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was a very small son of a demon called Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was such a tyrant. He meditated for thousands and thousands of years and he gets so many boons from Brahma that he cannot be killed. He cannot be. He wanted immortality. Brahma said, no, cannot, because you are any person who born in this world must die. So he asked so many things. I cannot be killed in the day. I cannot be killed in the night. I cannot be killed out of the house, into the house. Cannot be killed by animal. Cannot be killed by human. And there are few more. So he asked so many boons. Brahma said, Tadastu. He gave it to him. And then he came and he started havoc. He went to the heavens and chased Indra from the heaven. He created mess in the world. And then his son appeared, Prahlad Maharaj, who was born under protection of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni was keep telling him about Lord Narayana. So he became a devotee of the Lord, a demon son, a pure devotee of the Lord. He came back and met the father. So he said, oh, who is the supreme? He said, Narayana. He got angry. Then he said, send him for education. They took him for demon education, sent him into the ashram where everything wrong, opposite of Vedic knowledge is given. Every time he come back home, he will infuriate his father some more, Hiranyakashipu, until he became so mad at him, he said, okay, throw him into the snake, throw him from the hill, put him in the boiling oil, but nothing happened to him. He will fall, they will throw him from the hill and someone will catch him. The Lord will catch him. Snakes will come, they will just pass over him. He went through so many things, but nothing happened because he has an unflinching faith in Krishna, in Narayana, that he will save me in any condition. So until his father couldn't take it, one day he asked him, you think the Narayana is here? You think your Krishna is here in this pillar? He said, yes, he is there. So what he did? He throw his son away and he took his mace, Gada, and he started banging the pillar. And the moment he banged the pillar, the pillar broke and a half man and half lion shape of Narasimhadev roaring appeared, jumped from from the pillar. And he came in such a furious state that everyone got, what do you call, scared. But he started fighting. Then both is, you can see in the picture down there, Hiranyakashipu is here, this is Narasimhadev. Narasimhadev appeared in a scripture say 120 feet tall. And they had a massive fight in the end. Narasimhadev took him on the threshold of his house, not in or out. It was dawn, dusk time, so it was not day or in the night. He was not a man, he was not an animal, he never used any weapon. He tear open with his nails.
Actually, you all should just look
You watch this. It's
in YouTube.
very nice, you know. It's very, very nice pastime of Lord, where he just, and in the end, he was so angry, so furious. In the end, Prahlad Maharaj, a small boy, only could go and pacify him. Then he took him and put him on his lap. So that's the level the Bhagwan goes to protect one devotee, as good pure devotee of the Lord. So we should have that faith that no matter what, Krishna, Narayana will protect me no matter what. We should have this faith in God.
So this pastime was taken place in Ahubulam. If you go to Ahubulam, you can still see the pillar where Narasimhadev appeared is still around.
So is it the very important aspect of this pastime is that because his devotee, Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, I have, my Lord is here, he is everywhere. And he appeared the moment he, bang on that pillar, he appeared from the pillar to prove his devotee right, that yes, he is everywhere. So he appeared from the pillar. All right, we move forward. Okay, 4.9. Janam karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvatah tattva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti so Arjuna.
Yeah.
I think 1 minute, sorry. Its time is, we have only a 5-minute left. So can we
recite together faster?
Faster, yeah.
All right.
Janma karma
divyam evam yo veti tatvatah yattva deham punarjanma naiti mam eti sarjana.
Can someone quickly read the translation?
One who knows the transcendental nature of appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna.
So Krishna is assuring that whoever knows my transcendental nature, like I said, transcendental means beyond this world, spiritual world. Nature of my appearance and activity, my pastimes and how he appears, upon leaving the body, this person will never take birth again in this material world. Means he will go back to the abode of Krishna. So is it the tattva, the tattva is very important here. Tattva means the truth, eternal truth. Tattva it doesn't change. It's eternal truth. So whatever the pastime of the Lord are eternal truth, it will never change. So if we remember, that's why we should inculcate this practice while we are still healthy, while we are sane, to remember Krishna, remember his pastime, reading about him, chanting his name. So while leaving this body, which can happen anytime to anyone, correct or not? Some people think, oh, I am just 20 years old. Yeah, I have long life to live. We never know.
So recently, there's one case, this girl, what was that? She died in the bathroom.
Yeah, the one girl, right? She had a cancer, right? Recently died. Very young girl, 20, 28, 29.
She was a law student?
Lawyer, la?
She was a lawyer. She was a lawyer, actually. Yeah. Have you all come across Bhuvaneshwari something?
Bhuvaneshwari, yes, yeah. Very young, promising girl, a lawyer, and only sole winner of the family. And everyone, a lot of people supported her.
Yeah.
You know, she went through, I think, the best of the medication, best of the treatment, but she couldn't make it, you know. So we don't know when it's going to happen to us also. So as I said earlier, there's only one truth for us in this world is ultimately that we should get prepared. What I'm not trying to like scare you, but it's going to happen today, tomorrow, anytime can happen to anyone. So we should prepare ourselves for this departure because Krishna is eternal and his appearance and disappearance is like sunset and sunrise. It keep happening. Krishna keep coming. But from his one appearance to another appearance can take millions of years. We don't have that time. So better remember and go back within this lifetime. All right. 4.13. Chaturvarnyam maya sreshtam guna karma vibhagashah tasya kartaram api mama vidhi akritam avayam.
Okay, we recite together, right? Bhagavad Gita 4.13.
Chaturvarnyam
Maya
maya sritam
guna
guna
karma
karma
Tasya kartar
Vidya
akartam
Translation. Chaitra, you want to try now?
According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
So we see now Krishna is telling Chatur, four division in society created by him. But if you see in our Hindu society, it has degraded into caste system. That's why you know where the caste system come from. It is created by Krishna, but Krishna never intended what is happening in this world today. You know, for Krishna, everyone has our own prescribed duties. You know, and for in the spiritual realm, there's nothing higher or lower. There's a Brahmanas, means Brahmanas are head of the society. You can say in a linear term is more like thinkers and intellectuals, those who lead the society. Kshatriyas are, they are in mode of passion, Rajaguna. They are the protector, warriors, administrators. Vaishyas is the combination of Satoguna and Rajaguna mix, and they are more on the business people. And Shudra, Tamoguna. Shudra means what has happened. Shudra in now in our society become like they're very lowest. It's nothing. We must remember. Actually, in our body, we see that this is head is considered Brahmana, hands are Kshatriya, the belly is Vaishya, and legs are Shudra. If your legs do not work, can you do anything? So there's nothing like that head is superior and the legs are not. Everyone is same. Everyone has equal work. Everyone has equal importance. But it has degraded into this so-called caste system now. Become so bad. But Krishna never intended that. This is done by people in the society. So they are created according to three modes of material nature. Because we have three modes of material nature. I say Sadguna, or mode of what is it? Mode of goodness. Sorry, yeah. Then Rajoguna, mode of passion. Then Tamoguna, mode of ignorance. All three are prevalent in us, in everyone. Some has more of this, more of that. So if you see someone who's more saintly, you will have more goodness, mode of goodness. And even in the daytime, if we see, that's why I say morning, the Brahma Murta time is considered mode of goodness. Afternoon, Rajoguna, mode of passion, and night is mode of ignorance. So that's how all these modes work. And it affects everyone. But though Krishna has created all these four varnas, he is above all of them. He is not affected by them because he's the supreme, you know. But and at the same time, he's also reminding Arjuna that you are Kshatriya. You have been created for something, right? And also he's giving us some point that that based on the modes and work, we should work accordingly to our modes. Find work which is suitable for us. Not everyone can of us be administrator or teacher. So if we are doing so-called lowly work, it is not lowly work, but it appears in this world currently.
A very simple example. A judge's son will never, I mean, a father of a judge.
The son of judge. I mean, like, let's say, Vijayji, you are doctor, right? Now, tomorrow, when your daughter grows up, can she become doctor automatically?
Without studying, without.
Right? So she has to attain the degree. She has to go for training. Then only she will become doctor. Similarly, a son of Brahmana will get all the facility to become Brahmana, but is not Brahmana by birth. There is no one Brahmana, because in this world of in the age of Kali, everyone is born Shudra. Then we elevate our consciousness by following the right thing. If I am Brahmana, I should go for Vedic studies. I read Bhagavatam, I read Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedas, and then I do work like that, leading the society, telling what is right, what is wrong. Then you are called Brahmana. But if you like to do what do you call administrative work, you want to become soldier, okay, so be it. You can become a warrior. You can go to the police. You go to army. You become an administrator in the government. You know. But if you are like to do business, then you do a business and you become Vaishya. Or you want to do even the carpenter and all this. They do wonderful things. They are considered Shudras, but at the same time, society needs every one of us. Society cannot operate just by one section of people. All right. So we move forward. 4.34. Tadvidi prani patena pariparshana sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha.
Bhagavad Gita 4.34. Can all recite, please?
Tadvidi prani patena pariprasena sevaya upadeshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha.
Can someone read? Priyanka, you want to read? Translation?
Or Yoga Priya?
Just approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth.
Okay, so this is one of the very, because what we are actually trying to impart knowledge, these are very important verses of Bhagavad Gita out of 700. That's why we have chosen them. For this is very important. Tadvidi prani partena pariparshana sevaya. That means you just try to learn truth by approaching a spiritual master. That's why the Guru Krishna is telling, right? It's not I am telling or someone else telling or a guru telling. Krishna telling that if you want to know the truth, you go to the person who knows the truth. Go to a spiritual master. Like if I want to study economics, I must go to a person who knows economics. I want to know Krishna, I must go to a person who knows Krishna. Right? And inquire from him submissively. Never challenge a spiritual master. Because by challenge, you can never learn spiritual knowledge. You can only learn spiritual knowledge by submissively asking, because they can give us the knowledge because they have attained the knowledge from their gurus. All right. So that is very important, that why we should go to a self-realized person to make or not make him our guru, for him to accept us as his disciples. That's the right way of telling. Because we are not qualified to accept a guru. We should be qualified to be accepted by the guru. So what is that qualification? Approach him submissively. Ask question and he will give an answer. All right. Next. 4.35. Yat kyatmana punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani Drakshasi Atmani Ato Mai.
Can we recite together? Yajnan
Yena Bhutani Asesani Rakshasi Atmani Ato Mani.
Someone can read the translation.
Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine.
Thank you.
So we see from this that having obtained real knowledge from its self-realized soul, you never fall again into such illusion. So that's why Krishna is again stressing this point that you must approach a self-realized soul. What do you mean by self-realized? Any idea? Except Anandji, anyone can tell me? Sir, sorry, because I must involve those who are trying to understand. Yeah. So self-realized. What do you mean by self-realized soul? Any idea? Anyone? Have you heard this term called self-realized? A lot of people use right self-realization. Correct. So whatever you know, just tell. Don't worry. There's nothing to with the right and wrong.
So thinking much.
So okay, self-realization. The two words, right? Self and realization. Who am I? That first question must come in our mind, and this question came 17 years back in my life. Who am I? I was living in Dubai, having a very good job, earning a very handsome salary, driving all kind of posh cars. Then this one day, this question came. We'll go Thursday night. Friday is an off day in Dubai. Thursday night we'll go all the pubs and bars, enjoy ourselves. Come 5 o'clock, sleep until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Friday. Then one day this question came, what I'm doing in my life? Is it, this is what I'm born for? Make money, burn money, enjoy life, come and sleep like animal whole day on Friday, and then next day go to office again same, like madman running, madman running, trying to make money, but money, nothing else. So when this question came, who am I and what is my purpose in this life? That's where your journey starts. And I'm very happy that you are sitting today here trying to understand that. So this question must come in our mind ourselves. And that's where our journey is. So self-realization means realizing who am I. So the moment we realize my name given my father is Mahesh Kumar Anand, but I am not Mahesh Kumar Anand. You are not Jaitra. You are not Vijay Lakshmi. The day we realize this, that's where the journey starts. For me, started 17 years back. The day I realized that this body is not me. There's something in the body, that spirit soul is me. That is real me. And when this question comes, now what is my purpose in this life? Is to just enjoy life or do something better? Then question comes, if I'm the spirit soul, and what is my purpose? Then who is the supreme soul? Who is the God? What is real identity? Once we try to learn that, and what is now my connection and him, Supreme God, that's where Krishna will lead you to the people to get your answer. That's where I met so many people. I went all of a sudden, I don't know what happened. Every weekend someone will call me, Mahesh, this satsang happening, this Guruji coming from India, come here, come here. I went to so many places, never got my answer, all bogus gurus. And I could sense in first meeting that this person is not right. This is not the guru I'm looking at. After a few months, 3-4 months, met the right people, where I immediately from the day when I got connected, yes, this is what I was looking in life. So the movement will come for everyone, but we must look inward. Who am I? Self-realization, that is what called self-realization. The moment you start questioning yourself, the Krishna will open the doors for you. But at the same time, Krishna tests us. He will send you so many bogus people also at the same time to see our sincerity, that how sincere I am to understand him. He will send you so many bogus people also. We must be intelligent enough to find the right person or the right people to guide me and lead me in my spiritual quest. That's very important. So we are, as I say, like this now, second class or Shamini, that you can be my guru. I am not qualified to be guru, but my guru is qualified to be a guru. So if you want to get in touch, we will talk that later, because there are so many. We have a lot of gurus in our organization, plus my own guru, and guru and shishya. You know that is heart to heart. You must be very comfortable with the person you accept as guru, or that person accept you as disciple. So that's very open-ended question. You don't know which guru Krishna will send you, but if you're sincerely looking, he will send you. Don't worry. I'm just a medium. I'm just an instrument. Anuj, you want to say something?
Well, self-realization in very simple words is dropping one's ego.
Yeah.
You want the day you drop your ego, whenever certain people say anything or they try to actually irritate you or anything, don't have an ego, you don't have a response, you just move on. That dropping of the ego will only arise when you realize that there is a God in each of them. There is a jiva in each of them, which is equivalent to the God, which is part of us. So when everyone is a part of us, the question of ego doesn't arise anymore. And that realization is the point when you realize that this world is not worth getting upset about.
And it's very trivial, very small thing in life, you know.
But it's very easily said. I can tell you that, but I still haven't dropped my ego. There are times when it rises because of either your views or your opinion, and controlling that. When the day you control it, you realized yourself. That's the point.
Ego, yes, very difficult to come out of this ego trap. You know, our soul has mind, intelligence. Beyond intelligence, there is ego. You say once you break that barrier of ego, that's the day we become self-reliant. It's not easy to pass through that stage, but we have to keep working for that. We finish quickly. We are already late. So you said story. If you see this sadhu is sitting here, very royal sadhu, right? Sitting on the horseback. Is it that I think we skip that this one already? We are 15 minutes late. We go to the next slide. And we say that in East Bengal there was a Brahmana called Tapan Mishra. He was confused after reading many Vedic literature regarding the confusion on the means to achieve liberation. He approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yesterday, day before yesterday, I spoke of Mahaprabhu, right? Mahaprabhu is the incarnation, or he himself is Krishna, appeared 523 years back in Bengal, and he came with all his paraphernalia and all associates. He approached Mahaprabhu and sincerely inquired him to clear his confusion. Chaitanya Prabhu said that in Kali Yuga, one can't achieve perfection life by being a bookworm. One can attain salvation only by chanting the holy names of Krishna. The Shastras recommended Hare Nama.
We can pronounce this together, right? Hare Nama, Hare Nama,
Hare
Nama,
Nasya eva nasya eva nasya eva gatir anyata.
In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way. There is no other way.
So it is said in our scriptures, if something is repeated one time is important. If something is repeated twice is very important. If something is repeated 3 times, it is most important thing in the world to do. So if you see this Harer Nama, Hare Hare Nama, 3 Nam. Name of Hari, name of Hari, name of Hari. Kevalam means only. Kalau Nasti, Nasti means there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way to achieve liberation in this age of Kali. So, Krishna's name and there is no other way. 3 times in this mantra or verse, you know. So, that's why I say in this age of Kali, the only way to achieve liberation or achieve Krishna is by chanting his holy names. With this, actually, we are end of the today's presentation.
So this is completion of day 4, right? So those of us who have not got your kit, kindly get your kit. It's very important because we get the right Bhagavad Gita as it is, we have to get. And whatever we speak, whatever is
from this book.
From the
so it's a reference copy
yeah.
for you.
And then we have Japamala and we also have small books, right? So you can actually
especially for students, you know, this journey called Easy Journey to Other Planet.
I have all of them.
Oh, okay.
I have the Japamala also.
Okay. So, Easy Journey to Other Planet, how do we can go, right? We're talking about going to Mars and all. It tells, this book gives you very scientific way how to go to other planets. All right. So that's it. So please complete your quizzes. Yesterday, everyone has submitted the quiz. We'll send you the today's slide, and tonight also I'll send you the link for the recording. In case you have missed something or whoever not able to attend full class, they can go through the recordings again.
So, but it's important your presence to be here in the classes. That gives you a complete knowledge and understanding.
Plus the energy of whole group.
Yeah.
Because hearing alone doesn't help many times. You know? So we need, yes, sir.
I just wanted to tell you about fireflies.ai.
Yeah.
You were asking who that is.
Yeah.
I just realized it today that it is actually a note taker app, probably loaded in your system.
Okay.
So it helps in taking notes, and you can use that to if you are a subscriber, it'll actually transcribe. Otherwise, it'll just make notes and you can actually repeat. So it's actually a note keeper, note taking app.
Oh, okay.
So it must be in yours because I think you have it in your system.
Yes.
So it just picks up. Whenever you go on Zoom, automatically it picks up.
Okay. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you for sharing this. So we have already taken a lot of your time. Thank you very much. Any questions, answer? Actually, if you have time, I'm free. No problem.
Any questions?
I just wanted to explain one small thing about the 4 varnas. People normally mistake it for caste system, but I think if somebody challenges you on caste system, I was in Rishikesh about 3 years ago, and I was there, and I just walked into a discourse by, I don't remember his name, but he was giving a very nice discourse, and I follow Hindi quite well. So he was explaining the Varna system, and what he explained was very apt for our current lifestyle.
Okay.
In any organization today, whether you go to Apple or whether it's Microsoft or whether it is Sime Darby or whether it is Malaysian Airlines, you have the Varnas there.
Yes.
Because the top management, which actually thinks and designs and comes up with the business plan and the vision, is actually the thinking group. Then you have the security group, where you have security both for artificial intelligence as well as for physical items in the in the organization. For instance, you have security. Then you have the doers, the technical people, the team who actually do the work. Then you have the back office, the administrators and the people, and even the tea lady who serves tea at your desk. All of them contribute in their own way to keep the organization going. It is actually very wrong to say that Brahmanas are actually superior and Shudras who are actually inferior. Each one of them contribute to making the organization what it is. So and this was actually a very nice explanation given to me, and I just wanted to share with you.
No, that's very nice, very good. Even if you see many, like in India, especially in Malaysia, the communism is actually frowned upon. So communists are actually not there, or they are not openly here, right? Let's say, what is the communism, socialism? They say everyone is same, right? But you go to Russia, you go to China, why Putin has all the money in the world? If they're communists, everyone must have same, right? Why the higher ranking official, even in communism, enjoy a much better life than the comrades? So even a socialist setting of communism still follow Varnashram Dharma. So Varnas are always there and will always be there, no matter what people do, what people say. So because these societies are, divided among people, those who are intelligent, those who are thinkers, those who are doers, those who are, people at the back, or people that just do manual labor. So this will never change. The Varna system will always be there as long as society remains. Otherwise, let's say everyone become Brahmana. Hey, who's going to work? Only
right.
think. Who's going to work then? So everyone is important. Everyone required.
Just imagine if you're in a listed entity, can anyone walk into the boardroom and be part of the meeting there? Boardroom, nobody will be allowed. And technically, they are the Brahmanas of that particular organization. And if it doesn't mean that there is a caste system there. And this is exactly where, if somebody challenges you, any Hindu, I think all of us are Hindus here. If anyone challenges you, I think you need to defend it very, very well. I think most of us try to hide away and then feel shy that there is this caste system in Hinduism. It's not true. Caste system is there throughout the world.
Yes. Every religion,
it's just given a different form and a different name. That's all.
Whether it's capitalist in America, socialist in China, everywhere, it cannot be undone. It is there, inbuilt into the society. Anyone has any comment, question?
Okay, I think it's almost 8 now.
Maybe Krishna, you want to say something? Okay. Okay, never mind. Then we take your leave. Anything you can WhatsApp me or send me message. We'll try to help you. All right.
Thank you so much to each and every one of you.
Coming today, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank
you
very
tomorrow,
much.
Right?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Good night.